Hey everyone, it is Renee and Bob with the RSVP group with eXp Realty. And wow, that was a loud noise. We just wanted to come on and just kind of give you guys an overview. We have been, we made a transition exactly a year ago. And we just kind of wanted to go over what we've seen, what we've been doing, how things have been going, and really kind of just let you know, the truths versus the myths about our last year here at eXp. So I think we boiled it down to like 4 points, right, Bob? Like 4 different points? Okay, cool. So we're just going to quickly go over those. Hey, Anera. Let's see here. So our first point was the business model is legit. Bob, do you want to talk about how you feel that the business model is legit?
Yeah. Well, I think, one of the concerns when we were actually looking at coming over to eXp was some of the things we had heard about business model not necessarily being lived up to, didn't have the sustainability, things of that nature. And over the course of this past year, definitely seeing what's been promised has been delivered, and definite strides as far as the company's made. They're constantly on top of sustainability of the business model. So tweaking things here and there, but overall, everything that we've been promised has been delivered in the way of, stock, being gifted stock upon capping, being gifted stock overall. So yeah, definitely living up to the expectations that we had and promises being delivered upon. So
Awesome. Yeah. I remember when we were making the decision, like, it was a huge leap of faith. There wasn't a lot of people that knew a whole lot about eXp, and we researched it. We actually for 2 months was like just gut wrenching researching it, and they told us, yeah, that you'd be gifted stock. Cool. Okay. Well, they gift you stock when you sell your first transaction, which some people think that you're gifted stock every time you sell something, and that's not true. You're gifted stock with your first transaction. They gift you stock when you cap. And by the way, capping's at 16,000. They also gift you stock when you attract agents to eXp, and they've done all of those things. So that's cool. They also said that we could purchase stock at like a 20% discount, and that's an opt-in or opt-out situation. So if you opt in it, you can buy stock at a 20% discount. And I think, Bob, both you and I did that, and we've been purchasing stock regularly. Basically, they just withhold 5% of your commission, and then they purchase stock at the end of the month for you.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So we've been able to do that. And I know, there's people out there going, yeah, but look at your stock value right now. Well, look at all the stock values right now. And if you're not in it for the long haul, then, it is what it is. But I think, Bob, you and I are both in it for the long haul. Yes?
Absolutely. I think it's just a great opportunity too, as far as with the slide that's going on as far as the stock market goes overall,
Sure.
And the rate at which this company is growing. I'm kind of glad to see it taking a dip, faithful that I know that it'll come back. So.
Awesome. So the next point that we wanted to go over was, I think we both like kind of came to this realization over the past year, is that you don't need an office to have culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, obviously you and I chose to go ahead and with our team to have brick and mortar office, despite the fact that we don't need one.
Mm-hmm.
But, for us that works. I will say that over the course of the year, experience with eXp, the tools on hand, the ability to utilize the cloud and really see how that plays into things, certainly lends me to believe without a doubt that you don't need an office to establish synergy, culture, all those things that we've found through use of that tool, being able to communicate with people on a regular basis, get the help that you need right through the tool. That cloud service is interactive, and just having that on hand has been awesome. I know that you've been utilizing that quite a bit lately. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, so I've been attending an accountability group. Oh, the word accountability, we all hate it, because I think we all look at accountability as like a punishment or a consequence, and it's really not. Accountability is kind of a gift. You just need to look at it differently. So I've been attending this accountability group in the cloud in our world, and it's so cool because yes, we all have avatars, which is completely weird for some people, but the avatars, you really get to know these people's personalities. Like the last accountability call that we had, or we met in the cloud, and this person came into the room for our meeting, and in the cloud you're able to change your outfits, things like that. So she walked in and had an elf hat on and elf ears and was all like Christmas decked out. And what was super cool about that is, like, when you're with different brokerages and maybe you're interviewing an agent for your a family member or something out of state, and you talk to them on the phone, you don't really get a really good idea of their personality. When this person walked in, I knew exactly, like, this was not somebody, that's really reserved and quiet and analytical. Like, this was obviously somebody that, like, likes to have fun and is out there. So it's just super cool to learn people's personalities. And you're having a meeting. By the way, this accountability group, most of them are in Texas. We have another one that's in Chicago that's attending this. It's just super cool to be able to interact that way.
Absolutely.
Collaborate.
All across the country, getting their flavor on the markets there, what they're doing, what's working.
Yeah, it's awesome. So in the decision that we made to have an office is, we didn't know, like, we're from the Midwest, like everybody goes to an office, right? Although California, they've been doing virtual, work and virtual meetings forever. But as much as, we do have an office, however, I think we do a ton of stuff outside of the office. And we effectively opened our office for every agent within eXp to come and use it anytime they wanted, like use our conference room, hook up to the Wi-Fi, things like that. And everybody was super excited, like, that's awesome that you're allowing us to do that. And guess what? They didn't show up because they didn't have to. So it was kind of a fun realization there. But so then the next point we kind of wanted to impress upon was that your goals are your goals, and your definition of success is your definition. And for me, I know that so people put a lot of emphasis and focus on transaction count or volume. And for us, I think this past year, we've really learned that, you could have all the trophies in the world on your shelf that says you sold the most, or you sold, X amount of units, or and I have them. For my previous brokerage, they were nice enough to hand me some awards over the time that I spent there. But really, what matters is, what's your bank account look like?
Absolutely.
What's your, what's your family life look like? What's your personal life look like? They don't, the naysayers don't have access to that information. I wish they would just ask. So the measuring stick at which you measure success it's different for everyone. So if your goal is to do 20 transactions in a year, that's awesome. Because you may have other goals, like, maybe you're learning how to fly a plane, or maybe you're whatever it is that you're doing. There's different things that people want to do. So your goals are your goals. Your success, how you measure success is how you measure success. Do you have anything to add to that, Bob?
Absolutely. I think it comes back to profitability and, like what you were saying, as far as the number of transactions, awards, things like that. Those are all great. Been there as well. And, knowing, been exposed to that information for a while now, that there's plenty of teams as well as individual agents out there that have just have been crushing it as far as volume, as far as transaction count.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. But unfortunate statistics show that a large number of them, an overwhelming number of them, are actually operating in the red opposed to the black. So profitability really boils down to what's important. That's what's going to help you achieve your goal, unless of course your goal is just an award. But
Right.
me, I think it's about time, the time value of money, and being able to spend more of that time with family and friends and helping others.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We've actually seen and been having conversations with some fairly large teams out there that are doing a considerable amount of business, and they're not profitable. So at the face of it, everything looks amazing, right? And we're all like striving to be those people. And then when they finally trust you enough to start having these open conversations, you learn that, profitability, they struggle with it because they get caught up in, well, if you spend this, you can get that. And if you keep spending, you got to spend money to make money, right? And you get just caught up in this vicious cycle. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely focused on profitability this year. And then we also talked about, what you do should be fun. And if it's not fun, why are you doing it? This past year's been crazy for me. I've done things that I didn't think I would ever do or be able to do. I got to dance on a stage, a box type situation, actually with another agent from a different brokerage. And it was like 20 feet away from Lil Jon. Like he was performing, and I was like, they had all these backup dancers and whatever. And like, I was on the stage dancing, and then the backup dancers came up and danced. And then I got back on the stage and was dancing. Like, I don't know who I think I was, but it was a really fun night. And then I got to, what's that?
And where was that?
It's in Vegas. And I know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but come on, I danced like right next to Lil Jon. I'm telling everybody about it. And then I got to go backstage at a Rascal Flatts concert and hang out with them, which was like super cool. I've never been backstage at any concert. Those of you who do that all the time, it's an awesome experience, right? And I love Rascal Flatts, and like I got my picture taken with the lead singer, and got to chat with him, and got to actually walk out on stage and see what it looks like from that vantage point, which was super cool, and had an amazing time with like a bunch of agents from different brokerages. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. It was super fun. Yeah. And you and we went to eXp Con, and
yeah, that was my first time in New Orleans. Pretty awesome.
Do you remember any of it?
Bits and pieces. The important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was like wringing out my liver when we got back for like weeks. Yeah, I got this Ancestry DNA kit last year for Christmas, and I for whatever reason, it just got stuck in a cabinet and I never took it and whatever. And when we got back from New Orleans, I was like, unpacking and putting all of my stuff away. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's that Ancestry DNA. And I literally didn't do that test because I was like, oh my God, my Ancestry DNA is going to come back that I'm 50% alcohol. And I thought that would be a really weird result. So I waited. I actually just did it yesterday. But anyway, I digress. See, we have fun. Another thing that I wanted to share was that, there's this huge misnomer about rev share versus profit share, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm going to address it right now. People are saying that the rev share isn't sustainable, things like that. And what if it isn't? What if it goes away next year? I don't think that it is, but what if it does? Here's what I know. This past year, and we don't talk about what we make in rev share. I know it's common to kind of post that on Facebook and whatever, but we actually took a pledge that we wouldn't be doing that. But here's what I can tell you. It's the end of the year, and I am just going to share that we made I made just under $10,000 in passive income due to my transition from my previous brokerage. And that's not to entice anyone to come over. It's just the facts. Like, that's all it is. I mean, I know people that are making $10,000 a month, $10,000 a week, if you were to extrapolate it out. That's not my reality. Bob, I don't believe that's your reality either at the moment. But just the prospect that is a reality for some people, and it could be a reality for us, is like mind-boggling to me. And maybe it never happens.
Absolutely.
Maybe it doesn't.
If it doesn't, there's still plenty of opportunity with this company that we're investing back into the company that we work for, which I think is awesome. I mean, even if revenue share wasn't there, you take away all those things, if you have zero interest in, attracting agents and mentoring agents or coaching or whatever it is, and you just want to go out there and do sales. Well, I can't see too many companies out there, if any. I don't know of any that are as good as this in the way of being able to recapture your hard work in another form through stock and that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that's an awesome point. And when I left, I actually had, a couple people say, hey, you know what, Renee, you weren't really much of a recruiter at our company. So what makes you think that that's going to be a thing for you at the other company? And I'm like, well, I don't think that's a thing. Like, that's not why I came over. But I will say that I attracted the same amount of people to this company. And I say attracted because, people think that I was out trying to recruit people and whatnot. And that's just not the case at all. Like, most of the people that came and stayed, there were people that just reached out and said, hey, Renee, what did you do? Why did you make the decision to leave? But so attracting the same number of people that I did at my past company, and I'm made so much more passive income with the same number. So, but that's just my story. That's not everybody's story. That's just my story. So I just kind of wanted to, get on here and let everybody know what our story was. So,
and I just want to add real quick, Renee, if someone is, growing as an agent, you get to that certain point, you're going to eventually start growing to the point where you need to bring on help. If you're going to do it properly, right, you have to leverage some of your time in order to be able to achieve the goals and get to that profitability place that you want to be. Whether that be, you need some administrative help, whether that be you need agent help. Essentially, you have to be able to attract agents in that capacity.
Sure.
You have to be able to attract help either way. So, while neither one of us ever saw that as our main goal, and still it's, it is what it is, but it's a natural part of it, regardless of what company you are working for. You have to be able to leverage your time at some point in order to get that profitability.
Completely agree. And there have been people that came over to eXp and they left. Oh my gosh. Show me a company that hasn't had people leave.
Absolutely.
Right? It isn't for everybody. It really isn't. And guess what? Like, I love like the people that left, like I still love them. I think it's great that they feel like their home is somewhere else. And I'm not mad at that in the least bit. Like, you need to go where you're comfortable. But I will say that if you get too comfortable, sometimes you get complacent. So learning new things and trying new things, there's definitely something to that. So, if you've been scared or you have questions or you've just listened to so many people say such negative things, we just wanted to come on here and tell our truths. Like, there's going to be some people watching going, oh my gosh, like we've made so much more money at where we're at and yada, yada. And that's fine. That's great. That's your success. I'm here to tell you that we came over, we got everything we were promised. The support has been amazing. Like, we were nervous. Like, we didn't know, like, they don't have brick and mortar. We're used to being able to knock on the door and wait and be told, hey, I'm in a meeting, can you come back or whatever. And then sometimes you knock on the door and they're like, yeah, come on in. The support that we've received since we've come here has been, it's been crazy amazing. Like, people reaching out and just offering classes and things like that. Masterminds, like there's classes in the cloud all day long. I was able to stay home with my kids and still attend an accountability meeting because we have the world. There was a mom who she had a baby, and she was, quite frankly, she was breastfeeding, and she was just 2 weeks out from delivering, and she was able to attend classes, still be home with her kid. And to me, that's like, holy crap, like that's a game changer. So for me, the support's been like super cool in regards to that. Like, so much collaboration, so many people reaching out. I mean, we're part of this this Facebook group for our particular organization, and the amount of training and webinars and knowledge that they are spewing out on the daily, like unselfishly, like they're not getting anything from it other than supporting the people in their organization, which to me is just amazing.
And that's just, one of the things that I think we've realized a little bit more so recently through that tool is that culture can exist. And while you can have somewhat you can still have the face-to-face, but you can achieve the tonality through, despite the avatar. And much like what you mentioned earlier, Renee, when you had that one agent that came in with the elf ears and whatnot, obviously that says a lot about personality. While you may not necessarily see the body language, but you still get the tonality, and you have that interaction. It's definitely cool. And I'll say that, anytime I've ever had any type of issue that I needed a question answered, just jump right in the world, and it's pretty quick. I mean, it was next to immediate, even with the growth that the company's been experiencing. So they really, may have had some early on growing pains, but they are on top of it, and it's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, I know. When we were onboarding a couple of agents that were joining us, there was some real struggle with onboarding, and by real struggle, there's a huge process, right? And we're all kind of like, well, why is this taking so long? And why isn't this so immediate? Why isn't there a process? Well, there was definitely a process. But here's the situation: is that there's a log jam. Like, most of these brokerages, when they're onboarding people, like they're onboarding 1, 2, maybe 3 agents at a time, right? Independently operated franchises, things like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's call it 10. Maybe they're onboarding, maybe they're awesome and they're onboarding 10 agents at a time. This company was onboarding 1,000 agents at a time. Like, that is mind-numbing when you think about it. Like, imagine trying to get 1,000 people's lives just transferred over and whatnot. Like, it's probably going to take a minute. And, when we started looking at it that way, it was like, oh, like, I get it. I totally get it. And then we started being a little bit more part of the process, and just lending that hand when we could, and, getting explanations when we could, and walking people through it. And they leaps and bounds from where they were. And that's all growing pains. Like, super, super exciting. Like, the company's so new that there's processes in place, that there's amazing processes in place, and they're tweaking them every single day. Like, they have a whole team platform now, where when they're transferring teams on board, they have a whole separate entity that helps teams, because each team has their own way of doing business, right? And I guess that's the other cool thing is about the autonomy that they've been able to provide in terms of their team structure and things like that. Like everybody gets the same deal, but you have the autonomy to kind of set up your team the way that you want to, whether it's an official team, you know, with some reduced caps, or an unofficial team where you're partnered up and but you don't have reduced caps, and whether you're a mega team, there's like just a ton of different ways. You can come over as an individual agent, which, you know, we're teaching and training all the time that, you know, being an individual agent is probably one of the most productive and profitable times you'll ever have. It doesn't mean you don't have to have an assistant or whatnot, but it's a super profitable business, and you can leverage and do a ton of transactions as an individual agent just by leveraging. Or you can build a team, whatever it is that you're looking for. So do you have any more to add before we wrap up this this thing? I'm sure it's like 5 o'clock, and I know that there's probably people already getting their drink on, or
yeah, no, nothing more other than wishing everybody a happy new year and be safe out there.
Yeah, everybody, happy new year. If you guys ever have any questions or ever need anything from us, and it doesn't need to be about eXp, like just, you know, we've learned a totally different ways of doing business and how to approach business, buyers, sellers, clients. You know, reach out. Like we're happy to have those conversations and let you know what's working for us, and we'd love to know what's working for you, and really collaborate. And I think Bob and I's goal is that when you see our name on the other end of a transaction, that you're like, oh, thank God it's them, as opposed to, oh my God, because we've all had those moments, right? So we just want to be known for being, you know, great in the industry. No, go ahead, Bob.
I said, you know, one thing I did want to add with that comment, Renee, is that's something that you and I both, before we even came to eXp, we operated that way with that intent. You know, you gave a ton of your time, you know, despite the fact that you weren't, you know, necessarily bringing in all these agents or anything of that nature. You know, we're focused on our transactions, focused on helping agents.
Yeah.
Same thing here. You know, it's a more so about a belief in the company, I think, for both of us, and what we've found through our experience. So
I love it.
You're interested in hearing more about it or not, or whether you just want to help each other out, mastermind, we're here. Right.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, have a wonderful and safe new year. I'm sure, you know, we're at the corner of Boston and Pearl, so I can actually see police cars and ambulances and whatever run by, and during this live, 2 of them have gone by already. So please be safe, drink responsibly, and we'll see you in 2019. If you guys need anything, just let us know. Thanks so much, guys.
Happy New Year.
Bye.